Nestled within the realm of horological elegance lies a timepiece treasure often overshadowed by its larger counterparts, and that is the small-sized watch. In a world where bigger often seems better, these diminutive timepieces quietly assert their charm and allure. With proportions that echo a bygone era of understated sophistication, small-sized watches defy trends and stand as timeless classics. Today, we're taking a very close look at the Scarifour by British microbrand Benjamin James as we inspect every single aspect of this watch, as I always try to do for you, my lovely loyal viewers, all 4 of you.
And just a quick note, for those of you who don't already know, I appreciate my vids can be quite long, so I do leave chapters in all my reviews. So if you want to watch specific sections of my breakdown, then you can use those chapters to hop around. Oh, and don't forget to please leave a subscribe and or a comment. I would absolutely love to hear what you think about this watch, or if you want to comment, to just say hello.
And stick around to the end of my in-depth analysis of the Benjamin James Scarifour as I take it to the powerhouse city that is Manchester, including a wander around its stunning cathedral after a mooch around the National Football Museum. And excuse the croaky voice yet again. For those of you who didn't know, I have been ill recently, but thankfully now, not too bad, to stop me from having a wander around Manchester. As ever, it's great to have you here. Now let's look at an overdramatic specification of this watch, all in the next 90 seconds. Benjamin James is a distinguished British microbrand established by Ben, who brings with him an impressive track record. Prior to founding Benjamin James, Ben held notable roles, leading the watch division of Gecko and Watch Gecko, and he spearheaded the creation and design of the Forzo sub-brand from its inception. And Benjamin James's mission is to offer the community a fresh and distinct choice in watch style, and one that stands out from the crowd and delivers exceptional value at its price point, whilst also stating that their timepieces are not merely accessories but companions for every occasion, a reflection of years of experience and dedication. And in my hand today is the Benjamin James Scarifour in the royal purple colourway. Now this is also available in smoke black, blue hour, ice blue, orange sunrise, classic silver, and this, the royal purple. So just to reiterate what was said in a very calm 90-second spec, the Scarifour comes in at 8.3mm thick, 31mm in diameter, 40mm lug to lug, with a bracelet at 22mm width at the case, tapering down to around about 18mm by the time it reaches the clasp. Okay, so starting with the dial. Now this is a heraldry dial and features a very captivating embossed chevron pattern, which is inspired by the cherished coat of arms of the brand owner's hometown, Cheltenham, a town in Gloucestershire here in England. And the design of this dial beautifully embodies the rich traditions and heritage of that region. And I'm personally particularly drawn to those chevron patterns adorning this dial. I really feel it adds an appealing texture and dimension to the overall design of this watch. The horizontal brushing on the dial was deliberately aligned with the direction of brushing evident on both the case and the bracelet. And now this thoughtful choice ensures a cohesive and distinctive aesthetic across the entire timepiece, in my opinion. And moreover, the fumey effect on the purple hue is quite striking. It transitions from a very vibrant, tangy purple at the centre to a deep regal purple towards the outer edges of the dial, creating a captivating gradient effect. The hour markers, rendered in silver, are applied with the tops brushed but have polished chamfers showcasing an exquisite play of light, especially when viewed from certain angles. Now additionally, the Roman numerals at the 12 o'clock position are particularly striking in my opinion, adding a touch of brilliance to the dial's overall design. You also have minute markers printed onto a chapter ring that has been applied to the edge of the dial, and note the quite awesome England status that spans the bottom part of the chapter ring under the 6 o'clock, spanning from the 7 to the 5. It actually feels like a very English thing to do, and certainly adds to that regal feel of this watch, particularly in this colourway. And also note the logo in white under the 12 and the product name above the 6. Very simply done, and therefore adding more elegance to the overall feel of this dial. The hour and minute hands feature alpha design hands, characterized by their elongated diamond-shaped outline that perfectly complements the dial. And take note of the slender base of the hands, which gradually widens towards the center before tapering right down again towards the tip, creating a symmetrical and diamond-like silhouette along the length of each hand. And much like the hour markers, the finishing on the hand matches to the rest of the watch, as it has brushing running down the top surface and high polished chamfer on each side. Now the choice of these hands are absolutely perfect, I feel, for this watch, but also notice the absence of a seconds hand. Now this in my hand today is the quartz variant, but there is an automatic variant available. Now I'll come to the movement in a second, but it's worth noting now that both variants don't house a seconds hand. Protecting the dial is an AR coated sapphire crystal, and this is showing real ability to minimize those glares and reflections, which not only shows improved legibility of the watch dial even under bright light conditions or when viewed from various angles, but also enhancing the clarity and sharpness of these lovely chevrons on the dial. In terms of lume, the Scarifour boasts BGW9 Swiss Soup Luminova on the hands and on those circular markers next to each of the hour indices, with Benjamin James opting not to overdo the dial with lume and place it all over the place. The watch case is crafted from 316L stainless steel with impeccable A-grade finishing. Now it boasts a delicate design measuring 31mm in diameter and 40mm lug to lug. And while square in form, the case exhibits these softened corners, ensuring harsh right angles and presenting more of an octagonal shape. Now the sides of the case feature a sleek brushed finish, transitioning seamlessly into a polished edging as it ascends towards the bezel. The face of the bezel itself is also polished, enhancing its visual appeal, and notably rivet markings adorn the bezel, adding depth and texture to the watch's overall appearance. Also, I wouldn't want to forget mentioning again that it is only 8.3mm in thickness. In many ways one can say that its slim characteristic is actually the standout characteristic of the Scarifour range. This design ensures a comfortable and effortless fit on the wrist, enabling the watch to seamlessly slide under cuffs with ease. You have a dainty push-pull crown at the 3, heptagonal in shape and signed. And I really like that the shape of this watch is heptagonal, as its appearance complements the angular feel of this watch. And note that it is water resistant up to 5 ATM, 50 meters, which is pretty much the norm for dress watches, so you don't have to worry about getting this wet when washing your car, or if you leave it on accidentally when you get in the bathtub, but I certainly wouldn't go for any sort of prolonged swim in it in the swimming baths. The bracelet features an integrated design which I really adore for its seamless cohesion with the case. It imparts a sense of unity, as if the case and bracelet are fused into a singular entity. The horizontal brushing of these links, which by the way are complemented by polished center links, beautifully reflects light from every single angle. The width here at the case is 22mm and it tapers right down to 18mm by the time it reaches this quite dainty clasp, which by the way is signed. It's a really nice clasp actually, but for some reason when this was sent to me I half expected it to be on a butterfly clasp. Now the links themselves are pretty small, so I doubt that a butterfly clasp would have posed much of a problem with micro adjustment, I don't know. And also note that this bracelet does house capsa pins. Now not a favourite with many watch enthusiasts, and likewise my own personal opinion is, well, that I despise pin and collar with a passion. But that said, adjusting this wasn't as bad as I've experienced with capsa pins, and they do have their benefits. Most notably, the pin and collar system provides probably the most securest connection between each links. The movement on this variant is a quartz and operates with the Swiss-made Ronda 762 movement, boasting an impressive 10-year battery endurance. Now the Scarifour range is also available as a mechanical version, and that is powered by the Swiss-made Sellita SW210B. And it's important to highlight again that both the quartz and mechanical models lack a seconds hand. Additionally, choosing the mechanical option won't compromise on thickness, as it will still maintain a sleek profile of 6.3mm in terms of thickness. Now I'm not sure how you feel about that, by not having a seconds hand on the mechanical variant. Now the Sellita SW210B is a really good movement boasting 28,800 beats per hour, but you won't be able to see a single beat. Quartz movement resides behind this caseback that, for me, resembles a decorative plaque featuring the brand name and product title positioned below the logo icon. Below all of that, there is an infographic depicting a boat on water, along with some specification beneath it, all of which is enclosed with an outline that harmonizes with the shape of the case. I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong, but has very much of a feel of, dare I say, a tombstone. On my 7.5 inch wrist it wears, well, what can I say, it's 31mm in diameter and only 40mm lug to lug, so it's very much something that I personally wouldn't have considered adding to my watch collection just by looking at the dimensions alone. I mean, it's not designed to be a big watch, it's designed to be a small watch, and indeed Benjamin James themselves utilised the hashtag say no to oversized watches throughout their copy and their marketing, but actually it wears pretty good for my size wrist, which is rather surprising to say the least. It's square, so it's a little bit more forgiving than if it were a 31mm diameter circular case, and the fact that the integrated bracelet starts at 22mm in diameter at the case really adds a bit more bulk to the wrist from face value. Now don't get me wrong, this would absolutely suit someone with a 6 or 6.5 inch wrist better than those with super 7 inch wrists, but if you fit in the category of the latter and you tend to go for 38 to, I don't know, say 40mm diameter case size watches, please don't dismiss this Scarifour purely by dimensions alone. Like I say, there is a decent amount of bulk and surface area to this watch. It's quite comfortable too, and I wore it around the impressive city of Manchester wearing a pretty smart jacket, jeans and a pair of trainers, and it felt the part pretty well, though wearing this under a shirt with cuffs in a formal attire, a formal setting, is where this ultimately feels best at home. In terms of price, the quartz variant of the Scarifour will be launched on Kickstarter on Tuesday the 26th of March 2024 at a super early bird cost of 266 Great British pounds. That's around about 335 USD or around about 308 euros in today's market, with a mechanical variant 460 Great British pounds. That's around about 579 USD or 534 euros in today's market. But that super early bird is limited to the first 75 backers for each movement, and with a cost thereafter at 285 UK pound sterling. That's around about 360 USD, 330 euros for the quartz, 495 UK pound sterling, 625 USDs, 575 euros for the mechanical. So for me, both the quartz and the mechanical versions quite reasonable in price if you get onto that super early bird, but perhaps thereafter something that goes a step beyond the point of it being a calculated punt, and a little bit into the realms of a really considered purchase, in particular for the Sellita SW10B variant. And I'd absolutely love to know what you think about the price, so please do leave a comment below. Overall, well look, whilst I very much love this colourway in particular, with the Fumi effect adding serious depth to a dial and its respective chevron patterns, I'll be honest, when I first unboxed this and caught a sight of it, whilst I love the design, I had a moment of concern about its size. Now it's designed to be a petite watch, okay, but my concerns was primarily because I have wrists measuring 7.5 inches and I felt it may be too small for me. Now this watch is crafted and promoted as a smaller timepiece, with Benjamin James asserting that its dimensions achieve a perfect balance. Now do I wish it was bigger? Actually no. I've come to appreciate that this watch is supposed to be smaller in size, and surprisingly it shares the exact dimensions with the extra large variant of the Cartier Tank. Beyond this watch's physical dimensions, it embodies a rich tapestry of history, particularly and style, and its captivating dial invites us to explore the beauty that resides within its petite frame. I mean, its petite stature exudes elegance, albeit in a subtle manner in my view. Moreover, it strongly evokes a vintage aesthetic that I really like, which is reminiscent to a time when watches were more modest in both size and design. And this harks back to an era when watches weren't meant to dominate the wrist, but rather complement it gracefully. And the Scarifour achieves that with ease.